Star of 90 Day Fiancé Annie has given birth to twins. David is en route to the hospital. Annie, the renowned star of 90 Day Fiancé, has recently delivered twins. She is presently under meticulous surveillance at the hospital. Annie's former spouse, David, is visiting her during this poignant and celebratory period. Despite David and Annie's recent divorce, the emergence of a new life may revive dormant emotions between them. They may reevaluate their connection upon observing their child. Supporters are optimistic that these two young individuals will serve as a conduit to solidify their friendship. As the sun began to ascend above the city skyline, the tranquil halls of St. Mary's Hospital resonated with the jubilant announcement. Annie had delivered healthy twins, a son and a daughter. Nurses hurried in and out of room 312, murmuring animatedly, not only about the gorgeous infants but also of the individual awaiting just down the hall, David. David, Annie's former spouse, remained motionless outside the chamber, clutching a bouquet of white lilies and two diminutive teddy bears adorned with blue and pink ribbons. His heart raced with a perplexing amalgamation of exhilaration, remorse, and want. Only 3 months had elapsed since their divorce, a separation characterized by misunderstandings, tension, and quiet. Here he was, called by the emergence of two minuscule life that may alter everything. Within the room, Annie appeared fatigued yet luminous. Her disheveled dark hair was secured at the back, her eyes weighed down by fatigue, yet a serene radiance illuminated her visage. She cradled her kid in one arm while observing her daughter slumber in the bassinet adjacent to her. Upon David's entrance, their gazes converged. Momentarily, the anguish between them abated. "Hello," he uttered, his voice almost audible. Annie offered a faint smile. "You have arrived." "Indeed, I did," David replied, coming closer. "They are exquisite. Identical to you." A pause ensued. Annie gazed at the infant in her embrace, her voice quavering. "I did not anticipate your want to be present. Subsequent to all events. I did not anticipate that outcome either," David confessed candidly. However, upon hearing it, the past seemed irrelevant. Only thus. He gazed at the diminutive faces, identical in appearance yet brimming with individuality. One exhibited a nasal spasm reminiscent of David's while asleep, while the other possessed Annie's pronounced lips and robust brow. "I have missed an immense amount, Annie," David stated, his voice faltering. "Not solely the pregnancy. I have missed you." Annie suppressed her tears. "I also missed you. However, we were profoundly fractured. I did not anticipate that we would ever discover a means of return." David positioned himself next to her, delicately grasping her hand. "Perhaps we need not return. Perhaps we should simply begin anew. From this location." The nurses observed from outside the room, smiling as they witnessed the formerly estranged couple engage in a serene moment of reconciliation. News rapidly disseminated. Annie and David were conversing, laughing, and even weeping together. Although the future remained uncertain, for the first time in months, optimism permeated the atmosphere. Later that night, Annie awoke to discover David slumbering on the hospital sofa, a safeguarding hand placed on the bassinet. She saw him, her heart brimming, and said to the slumbering infants, "You have returned him to me." The twins stirred subtly, as though they comprehended. Thus, what was fractured commenced its restoration, not via extravagant acts, but through the gentle miracle of new existence, two diminutive heartbeats, and the opportunity to experience love anew. David Toborowski from 90 Day Fiancé announces an unforeseen career transition following the arrival of another daughter. David Toborowski from 90 Day Fiancé has suggested an unexpected method for generating income in Thailand following the birth of his second baby, with Annie Soin. David and Annie are among the most famous figures in reality television since their debut in Season 5 of 90 Day Fiancé. During that period, the age disparity between David and Annie was a significant obstacle in their narrative, compounded by David's financial difficulties that hindered his ability to pay Annie's dowry. In about a decade, David successfully reversed the situation. His diligent efforts are yielding results as he flourishes in Thailand. David resides in Thailand with Annie and their little daughter, Minthaira, and is perpetually contemplating innovative methods to make cash. Annie recently posted a photograph of David dressed in a pinstripe suit and red tie, smiling. She captioned it, "We will never relinquish our bond," expressing her enthusiasm for their new venture. Annie complimented her husband, stating that he appeared remarkable. The television screen in the background displayed a projected image. The image depicted David and indicated that he was from the USA and residing in Thailand. Married with a new daughter, my hobbies include traveling. David has undertaken numerous occupations during his life. He served as a college professor instructing English as a second language and thereafter ventured into business in Thailand. He is also engaged in real estate and rental properties. Since his entry into the 90 Day Fiancé franchise, David has emerged as a prominent reality television figure alongside Annie. The duo generates revenue through cameo films and virtual Thai cookery sessions. David and Annie jointly published a book. He successfully divested one of his properties in Thailand. Their continuous appearances on TLC have transformed them into full-time television and web personalities. Nonetheless, David comprehends the significance of currency. Having endured poverty, he is resolute in his commitment to avoid a return to the period when he relied on a friend for financial assistance and shelter. David, an industrious individual, consistently seeks innovative methods to create revenue. He is likely to soon provide business or motivational lessons via online classrooms or social media. Although he has not disclosed the specifics of this new endeavor, he may be poised to impart his sales expertise to admirers keen to acquire the techniques of the trade from the reality television personality himself. David from 90 Day Fiancé possesses an innate aptitude for teaching. Annie was one of his pupils during his tenure as an English instructor. His most recent endeavor appears to focus on education. It is still to be determined whether he will impart knowledge on real estate success or strategies for social media growth, both of which he has rapidly mastered. Dedicated to self-enhancement, David is resolute in his pursuit of an improved life for his expanding family. He is also reconciled with his elder children, his son is marrying, and he has welcomed a new daughter into the family. With their assistance, David is pursuing his aspirations as he approaches 60. Nevertheless, the warm Thai sun permeated the curtains of Annie and David's condominium as Annie sat silently at the kitchen table, sipping tea. Her fingers idly traced the circumference of her cup while she gazed out the window, absorbed in contemplation. Last night was again another prolonged affair. David returned home well after midnight, reeking of booze, chuckling to himself, and subsequently collapsing onto the couch. This was not the inaugural occurrence. Since their return to the U.S., David has reverted to his former behaviors. Initially, it was merely a few beers with supper. Subsequently, happy hour evolved into extensive evenings at the bar. Annie endeavored to exhibit patience. She recognized that life had been challenging for David. Occupational stress, financial instability, and cultural transition. However, recently, she started to question whether she was losing the man she had once loved. "I was a humorous, intelligent, and benevolent man," Annie said to herself. Not an individual who prioritizes alcohol over dialogue. Upon David's awakening around noon, Annie was already attired and prepared to depart for her part-time employment. She positioned herself near the door, clutching her handbag, with a melancholic expression in her eyes. "Good morning, dear," David said, massaging his temples. Annie responded curtly, "It is not morning. It is nearly afternoon." Once more, David sighed and sat upright, recognizing that something was amiss. "Annie, please proceed. Refrain from behaving in that manner. I was merely out with my friends. Nothing extraordinary." "That is the issue, David. Each evening is merely an outing with male companions. Each morning, you neglect to remember that I await your arrival." The stillness between them lingered for an excessive duration. Later that week, the couple participated in an exclusive gathering with acquaintances from 90 Day Fiancé. While everyone enjoyed themselves with cocktails, music, and laughing, Annie observed as David consistently consumed one glass after another. He was the most boisterous individual present, excessively laughing at jokes and somewhat slurring his speech. Individuals smiled courteously, yet Annie discerned their unease. Upon their return home that evening, she expressed herself freely. "David, I can no longer feign that everything is acceptable. Your alcohol consumption is excessive." David blinked, astonished. "What is the subject of your discussion?" "You are unaware of it, but I am." Each evening, each gathering, all justifications. "I perceive your gradual withdrawal, and I am uncertain how to connect with you today." David remained silent. He gazed at her, truly gazed at her, and for the first time in an extended period, perceived the anguish concealed beneath her fortitude. "I wish to retain you, David. However, I cannot remain wed to someone who is devoted to alcohol." The words lingered in the atmosphere like a dense drapery. David averted his sight. "You are correct," he stated softly. "I have allowed circumstances to become unmanageable." It represented a pivotal moment. The following morning, David researched support groups online. He sincerely apologized, not merely verbally, but through his actions. He assured Annie that he would make an effort, not for public display, nor for social media, but for their future. Their expedition was arduous. At times, love necessitates mutual accountability, even when it is painful. Months later, as Annie stood beside David at his initial recovery milestone, she saw that he was the guy for whom she had struggled. He was also advocating for her. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Amelia. I hope your day is going well. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.